Hi everybody. As you can see here, this is the triptych. I've got the gold on. I've sketched in these two side panels, assembled everything together, and now I'm just going to clear up some of the gold before transferring the drawing onto here. Some of the gold's a bit scrappy. I'm not worried about that because this is quite a complex composition, and it's bound to get knocked or scratched, or be imperfect. So the other thing is that there's going to be a tree painted into here. There'll be a dais and so forth down here. So I'm not too worried about this. I'm going to finish off the gold when it gets to the end, a little patching. The moment I'm using a fiberglass pen, and I'm just using this to clean up the edges of the gold, and this works is really a treat, as you can see. And it's not so much the gold that's the problem, but any bowl that's sort of strayed. And you can see here, for example, I managed to get some of the bowl past my protective layer, and so I just need to get that off, and that's not always easy. So this little tool is great for that. And I prefer this to a blade, because with a blade you can end up really catching the corner of the blade or whatever into the gesso. So this is a little less risky from that point of view. But you can see it sort of cleans up those lines quite well. The design will show Our Lady holding Christ enthroned on her lap, Mary as Queen, and that's because St. Radigan over here was a royal princess, a queen, so that sort of resonance between Our Lady as Queen of Heaven, I think it's quite nice. And then so this is Mary as the throne on which Christ is sat, and Mary is the Ark of the Covenant, which is a nice sort of title for Mary. The Ark of the Covenant was what what Moses put the 10 Commandments in, and his staff, and was carried before the Hebrews when they invaded Canaan and crossed the River Jordan. So it was the sign of God's presence with them. Now, the theme of this composition is Mary, as I say, is the new Ark of the New Covenant, and it will show Mary in paradise. So the whole theme of redemption, of Christ being the sacrifice that takes away the sins of the world, the indwelling of God, and this here will be a representation of the temple. So Mary is the Ark of the Covenant in which Christ is placed and then born. The Ark of the Covenant was placed in the temple, and Christ talks about his body being the temple. So there's all sorts of resonances here about paradise and the way in which redemption breaks into our material world. Now, I'll speak more about that once I've actually got more of the design on. But this here is a representation of the temple, and so the dome here representing the Holy of Holies, and in Byzantine iconography, that's usually represented as the Holy Sepulchre, so the place where the sacrifice that took away the sins of the world is offered. So the earthly temple is a prefigurement of Christ's redemptive body. Anyway, you can see how I'm just cleaning this up, and next week I think I will start painting in earnest. We've got the course next week showing the prophet Elijah, and I've got to get ready for that. So I don't think I'm going to have time to paint before that, but it'd be lovely to see this really coming alive in the run-up to Christmas. So there should be some more updates in a week or two. So hope you've enjoyed getting a little glimpse of the triptych. Just to show you, you can see the top here. Oh no, you can't on the camera. But there's this sort of nice wooden base which goes on to the bottom, and a similar one on the top, and then these doors will close over like that. So then it reveals paradise with St. John and St. Radegund, as it were, welcoming us into paradise with Our Lady. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed seeing that, and hope to give you another update fairly soon.